You should be standing up and protecting women and girls' rights in sports. And keep your biological men who are mentally insane and have perversive ideas, thoughts, and fantasies out of our bathrooms, out of our sports, out of our women's spaces. And if you want to continue to be the party that stands up for that absolute insane bullshit, we'll keep beating you election after election after election. Our current state of affairs is we are $36 trillion in debt. Congress cannot have enough committees on oversight to look at cutting the ridiculous amount of spending, waste, fraud, and abuse from the federal government. So I'm very grateful for the opportunity to chair the subcommittee on DOGE. Also, I don't think that we should be shaming people for success in this country, as we're hearing from the ranking member today. You know, success is something every single American strives for, and we want to do everything we can to make sure that Americans can be successful. And in doing so, cutting the ridiculous amount of spending that has carried on for decades here in Washington, D.C. is one of the most important steps that we can take as members of Congress in ensuring that the American people are successful. And doing that, we can get them and hopefully dig them out of this grave of debt, which is $36 trillion. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back. There's a lot of outrage today about my new subcommittee on DOGE. I want to say I'm honored. Thank you. You see, all the talk about billionaires. Let's talk about George Soros, who has donated hundreds of billions of dollars to Democrats, Democrat PACs, Democrat interests that ripped open our border, invaded our country, have had all types of policies that have directly impacted Americans in the worst ways possible. You know, Elon Musk used to be a Democrat. And I think the problem here is you guys are really jealous. And let's be brutally honest. It's your policies that have run off Democrats. You have run off your own donors, and you ran off the voters in this last election because of the absolute failures that you did to this country. So let's be really clear in what you're trying to do. You're attacking Elon Musk because you're really jealous. You are. You're just really jealous. And Elon Musk, I want to remind you guys, while California is on fire, he is directing his resources there with Tesla trucks and Starlinks to help people and victims that are being impacted right now by the failures of the Democrat leaders in California. No, it's not climate change that is burning down California. It is a failure of how to handle and prevent these types of problems. No water in the fire hydrants, no water in the water reservoirs, not cleaning up the forest floors. So let's be very clear about Democrat policies, Democrat decisions that have run off so many people. And let's talk about what you're trying to do is just attack someone that used to actually support your party and supports your party no more. But let's really talk about this amendment. And it's not an attack on Elon Musk specifically, as it is an attack on Elon Musk and every single taxpayer in this country. It says, no person with a personal financial interest impacted by the decisions of the committee or any subcommittee thereof, including the newly created Subcommittee on Delivering on Government Efficiency, shall advise the committee or its members in a paid or unpaid capacity. Think about that. So you don't want taxpayers to have any say in what this subcommittee holds hearings on, talks about things that need to be funded or unfunded, departments that need to be shut down, union employees of the federal government that need to be fired, unions that need to be busted up, waste, fraud, and abuse. If this amendment were to pass, this amendment would directly violate the freedom of speech of taxpayers, of Americans, because this amendment says that no one can have any say to committee members or on the subcommittee of government efficiency. That's what this amendment says. And our job and our role is to serve the taxpayers, to serve the American people, to protect their freedom of speech, to uphold their interests, to protect how their taxpayer dollars are used. And so this is why this committee we can't consider having an amendment like this in our rules, because we'd be violating exactly what we are here to do. It's a complete waste of time. And Mr. Chairman, I oppose this amendment and I yield back. When we talk about civil rights, we should talk about the rights of over 63 million unborn people that were slaughtered in the womb by what Democrats call reproductive rights. Your reproductive rights are murder. And when you want to talk about which form of murder do you want to use against an unborn innocent person who should have the right to life, we should go into all of those nasty, disgusting methods. Whether these innocent people are ripped limb from limb, and they're washed in saline and murdered in the womb, or are their heads crushed before they are pulled out of their mother's cervix and womb. Let's talk about those rights. And let's talk about rape. Yeah, let's talk about it. A former student convicted of sexually assaulting 2 girls released by Loudoun County judge. You know, you were talking about stats and data. There is information, if you just take a minute to go look it up on your cell phone that you're looking at right now, you can look up a biological male student that was mentally ill and dressed up like a girl and went in the girls' high school bathroom and assaulted 2 young women in their school. Yeah, it happens all the time. And when you talk about civil rights, let's talk about women's rights in sports. A male swimmer competed on the men's team for 3 years before winning the women's NCAA Division I championship in the 500-yard freestyle event. This same man was nominated NCAA Woman of the Year. That is a big violation of women's rights. After playing on a college men's team 30 years prior, a 52-year-old 6'6" man joined a women's junior college basketball team and destroyed them on the court. Oh, wow. I thought you cared about rights, civil rights, women's rights. A male runner was named Women's Athlete of the Week after competing in an NCAA Division I women's cross-country meet. One male athlete won first place in the women's mile race at an NCAA Division I conference championship. And a 17-year-old female volleyball player was left partially paralyzed with brain damage after a ball was spiked at her by her biological male opponent. The team rightfully forfeited the remainder of the games played against that school out of safety concerns. Why don't you care about these women's rights? If you want to preach about civil rights, civil liberties, and protecting people's rights, you should be standing up and protecting women and girls' rights in sports. And keep your biological men who are mentally insane and have perversive ideas, thoughts, and fantasies out of our bathrooms, out of our sports, out of our women's spaces. And if you want to continue to be the party that stands up for that absolute insane bullshit, we'll keep beating you election after election after election. You want to know why? Because y'all are for they, them, and we're for the American people. And we actually do stand up for people's rights. We stand up for the unborn, we stand up for women and children, and we will protect them from the deranged lunatics that you all call women. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.